Hello and welcome back. I'm Mike.
And this is Aiden.
And we are back, but this time, not with an unboxing. We have the rare deck profile.
When was the last time when we did?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Someone tells
us in the comments.
Ago. I ain't checking. It's been a while. So this isn't one we took to the regional. This is what you've done since the regional, seen what didn't work, and then got the new stuff from Magical Hero.
It was more, this was the version I wanted to run, but the regionals just happened to be a few days before this come out, so even though the deck I run at the regionals was actually worked pretty well, some card choices I wasn't happy with because I was just almost like filling for like these cards, waiting for them to come out, so yeah.
So let's get to it. So you start getting the cards ready. What we're going to do, we're going to go through very quickly the actual deck profile. At the end, we're going to do a little display of the combo on YGO, so we'll see how that goes. So crack on, matey mo.
Right, cool.
I have to quickly say, matey mo? What?
You're not saying hey-ho this time.
No, it's close though, isn't it?
Matey.
Good God. Carry on.
Right, so we'll start off. We got 3, the bad boy, Stratos. I tested numerous builds of this deck. Stratos at 3 for me was just the best way to run it because he searches pretty much all your heroes. You want consistency with the deck because even though this deck does run pretty well, like you can brick sometimes, so like Stratos can just help with that because he can search like your Faris and Malicious, and then you can go off from there. I tried it at 2, but I don't know, it felt okay, but it just wasn't coming up as much as I wanted, so I feel that 3 was the right number for me.
And yeah. I was going to say something then, but I don't think I'm completely informed properly, so I'm just going to stop.
That's all right.
You carry on.
2 Shadow Mist. Again, I tried this at 1. It was when I was messing around with a build with Solid Soldier, to sort of get more monsters on the field and sort of extend plays. But if you draw this, you can't like send it off like a Vion or like with certain ways. You might need to see this more than once in a game. So having it at 2 just worked out to be the better ratio.
Nice.
And then there's the new guy, of course, Liquid Soldier, the one Liquid Soldier. You only need 1 because you're going to use this for the absolute 0 play. You barely summon this guy, although he has got a pretty nifty effect, whereas if you normal summon him, he can special summon a level 4 or lower hero monster from your graveyard. So obviously you can special summon your Shadow Mist and then search Mask Change, which is pretty neat. And if he's sent to the graveyard or banished for the fusion summon of a elemental hero monster, or a hero monster, really it is, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. So like he gives like the deck some much needed sort of draw power, which is pretty nice.
So we'll quickly add with him as well. Just leave him on the screen there. If you want to see us pull him out of a box, you can do just by clicking on the link in the top right hand corner right now.
Yes.
Go watch the unboxing. Carry on.
Had to get that in there.
I'm the promo guy. You're the description guy. I'm the promo guy. That's how it's working today.
The one on this Neos, nothing really to sort of say on this one. You mainly want this in hand to protect your Plasma, Dark Law, but also if you're going for OTKs, he's really good as well.
That was a Duelist Saga Ultra Rare, wasn't it?
We did pull the super in the box, I think, didn't we? But no, we didn't want the super. They didn't want the super. 3 Malicious. This is probably, this and Faris are the reason the deck works so well. If this guy got cut to 2, it would be really sad. Having this guy at 3 just gives you access to like so many plays. And obviously with Fusion Destiny and this guy at 3, it's a 1-card Plasma. If this guy got cut to 2, you wouldn't be able to do that unless you had other things in your hand. So at 3 is definitely, I would say, the right amount. It might get boring for some people after a while. Rounding off the Destiny Hero monsters are Dynatag, Plasma, and Draw Hand. So, Plasma, we all know what he does. He's like a one-sided skill drain. Downside is his attack, but obviously that's why we have Honest Neos to protect him. And he's like Relinquish as well. Like he can snatch monsters and gain attack, which is pretty cool. Dynatag, we use this in combo with Dystopia to alter its attack, so we get the quick effect pop. And Draw Hand, I replaced this with from Celestial. So Celestial originally was my draw power, so I would banish it in a Destiny Hero from the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Now that Liquid Soldier does that for me, I decided to run Draw Hand because he can play around Nibiru. So like if you go off on a combo and this guy's been sent to the graveyard in the same turn, during the next standby phase, he special summon back. And then if you've got like a mass change, you can get a Dark Claw. So obviously it's not, hope isn't lost if you're getting a B-Root with this guy. So I definitely recommend trying it out. I do think he's better than Celestial, I find right now. Vision Hero package. So you got the 3 Faris. This guy, I'd say you always want to see. I mean, I saw some decks run 2, because you're not really going to make use of multiple copies, but you run 3 because you want to see it as soon as possible. I mean, this guy in Malicious will literally get all your plays going. So I said I tried it at 2, and no, I wanted to see this like straight away. Even if I've got multiple, I'll ditch one Faris to summon the other Faris and then sort of go off from there. So 3 was better for me. The 2 increase, so he's essentially like the brick of the deck. Like, again, I tried this at 1 because you only really need to pull this off once. Because the way I saw it was a bit like the Speedroid, Terratop and Takatombo combo, whereas you wanted 3 of the one and 1 of the other just because you wanted to pull the combo off once and that was it. But the problem is if you draw this guy, you don't have access to another one, and it really hurts your combo. So you can always like fuse him away with for like Sunriser or something like that, but is a 2 is probably the right amount. 2 Vion. Again, you'll summon this off your increase. We run it at 2 because if we draw 1, we still have access to the other combo piece in the deck as well. Worst case scenario, if you sort of have a bad hand, you can summon him, send Shadow Mist, or send Malicious, and then sort of set up a play from there. So like he does have other uses apart from just being summoned off increase. Rounding off the monsters, I'm so glad I got this guy when he was, I would say cheap, he wasn't cheap.
He was cheaper.
Now he's like £60, or I don't know what that is in dollars. We use this for the Malicious Bane play. I was thinking about cutting it when Sunriser came out, because obviously we've got access to Absolute Zero and Acid play, but my decision changed when I went to the regionals because Malicious Bane saved me so many times. You'd be surprised when people just can't get over an indestructible monster these days. Pretty nifty. And then, of course, the 2 Ash Blossom. I cut this down from 3 because it is a combo deck. You don't want to draw, cards that aren't really going to sort of extend your plays or add to your plays, but it is a go in second deck. It is important to sort of have some disruption on your opponent on the first turn. She is a hard once per turn as well, so it is better to have 2 because you don't want to open multiples. So 2 is the correct amount.
For you. 2 is the correct amount for you.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
for
some are
everybody.
just like 3 Ash Blossom, 3 DD Crows. No.
For some people it works.
So that rounds off the monsters. It's quite a heavy lineup. It's like 23, I believe. Spell cards, the 3 equal. So I tried running this at 3 and Stratos at 2 because obviously you still had good search power, and obviously reinforcement of the army I was running as well. But I just found that 3 Emergency Call, 3 Stratos it worked out better for me. And even if you open multiple equal, you can use one as like Ash Bait. So obviously you can activate it to surge. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they will, but if they do choose to negate this with Ash Blossom, you can then go off on other plays like Fusion Destiny or activate another one or summon Stratos and then search that way. So it's definitely good to have, and you can search your Honest Neos with this as well, which you can't do with Reinforcement. 3 Mass Change. We run it at 3. I would say it's a brick sometimes. It's not really, but it can be if you open multiples. Because you want to set up your board and then do a Mass Change play, or you want to be attacking in the battle phase and then pop a Mass Change. Sometimes it can just sit there and not do anything, but you run it at 3 because you don't really have a way to search this apart from Shadow Mist, which you need to summon off. I think it's only Liquid Soldier we do it now, whereas it was Solid Soldier before. So yeah, we run 3 because of that. And the best card in the deck, Fusion Destiny. I saw some people cut this down to 2 with the release of Sunrise because I would say downside. I mean, one sort of negative that some people see with this card is after it resolves, you can't summon anything but Dark Hero monsters. So it locks them out of doing Absolute Zero or Sunriser because they're light and water. But Worst case, this is a 1-card plasma going first, which is pretty good. You can always set up your plays first and then use Fusion Destiny for like a dystopia, or set up the grave for some more plays. Overall, I think you do need it at 3, because even if you open up multiples, if they negate the activation of one, you can still use another one because it hasn't been activated, it's been negated. So definitely you want this at 3. I wouldn't recommend cutting it. The one-ofs, we got 1 Hero Lives, 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Polymerization, 1 Dark Calling. So
sorry, is that a misprint on a Hero Lives?
What do you mean?
Is that printed like in the wrong place?
I don't know.
It looks higher compared to the others.
Possibly.
I just want to put this up into camera so you can see. Oh, there we go. That's definitely printed higher than everything else.
I didn't notice.
There you go. Got a misprint.
Fair enough.
This is hardly a misprint, but it's a misprint all the same. Now I've made a mess of your cards.
That's fine.
There we go.
So the Hero Lives, I wish this card would go back to Unlimited. As I said, it can start your plays. It will obviously give you access to Mass Change more often with it being able to summon Shadow Mist, but as I said, it is what it is. One does work fine when you see it. It's all good. Miracle Fusion, we now run this because we can search it off Sunriser and it gives you your absolute 0 play. Polymerization, self-explanatory, gives you access to your fusions, and then Dark Calling is for the Malicious Bane play. And the trap cards rounding off, we got 3 Impermanence, and then the new trap card, Magistry Alchemist. So Impermanence, again, sort of self-explanatory. It's a go in second deck. This card's great going first or second, because if you go first, you can't get to your plasma. You can set a couple of impermanence or an impermanence, it still gives you a monster negate. And if you go second and you open this, you can just activate it straight from your hand to negate something. So it's an all-around great card. And Magistry Alchemist, I saw like a card review on this when it came out, and someone said there's absolutely no point in running it. And I agree, you do want to OTK with the heroes, but the problem is there's a few times if you get drawn into a late game scenario where your resources have been used, Alchemist has come in handy so many times. So it basically lets you banish 4 hero monsters from your graveyard and or face up from the field, and then target a hero monster in your graveyard, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. If you banish earth, water, fire and wind attributes to activate this effect, the monster's original attack is doubled and negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. So it would be nice to activate the second effect, but I don't run fire, and I don't think there's need to run. I mean, the only fire you'd have is like Blaze Man, but you don't really want to run it in this deck.
The last I checked, you were thinking about putting something in, so you decided against that then, is it?
I decided against it because it would hurt the consistency, and this card at 1, every time I've seen it, it's come up like, if they get rid of your like plasma turn 1, they go off on their board, you can activate this in the end phase, banish the heroes, bring plasma back, and then snatch a monster on their turn. So overall, I think it's actually a great card. So that rounds the deck off. It's at 40. I actually struggled to get this deck to 40. There's so many things you wanted to run. Going on to the extra deck. So the links I play are 1 Dread Decimator, 2 Cross Crusader, and the 1 Wonder Drivers. So Dread Decimator is great. He's a link 3. All your heroes gain 100 attack for each different named hero in your graveyard. I thought it was an underrated card at first, but the more I've used it, it's actually very, very good. Cross Crusader, self-explanatory, it gives you access to... He's the one you're going to go into first and most of the time. You run the 2 because it does come up sometimes in game where you'll go into a second, but he gives you access to your search power, different cards, definitely the one that you want to be summoning first. And then Wonder Driver is actually very, very good. The only downside is it does have a link zone pointing to your opponent's field, but you're going to use his effect and then link this away, so you can like recycle your polymerizations or your mass change. There was a combo I did once with Wonder Driver resetting a mass change for double Dark Law. I'd already used the draw hand was sent to the graveyard, so on the standby phase it was summoned to the opponent's to my field. The opponent and myself drew a card, and then obviously the 2 Dark Laws effects go off, giving you 2 banishes from their hand, and then you plus a card as well, which is pretty nifty. The masked heroes, we run 2 Dark Laws, 1 Anki, 1 Blast and 1 Acid. I'm sorry about the condition on Acid, it's an old card. 2 Dark Laws, again, I think 2 is the ratio everybody runs. Instead of you can go into multiple in the game, and he said he's such an oppressive card in the current meta because it does actually stop most of the top decks doing what they need to do. So downside is it's not a very high attack, but then again, we've got like Honest Neos and now Sunriser as well to protect him. Anki's there for the OTK plays because he can search Mass Change, and then obviously you can, in the battle phase, you can sort of go off on that one. Mass Hero Blast, I think is important. It's for the Stratos target, so he can bounce spell and traps back to the hand, and then half monsters attacks as well. It's important to use it with Stratos. If your effect gets negated, you can Mass Change into Blast, and then at least you haven't lost something. And then the Acid is there for the absolute zero play, which is so much easier to pull off now with Sunriser, to basically nuke your opponent's monsters and then their back row as well, all in one go. So definitely one of the nastiest combos the deck does. The 2 Destiny heroes, pretty standard. Dangerous, you're not really going to go into this. He's like worst case scenario if you bricked really bad and you maybe need to send Malicious and Shadow Mist to the graveyard to get a search. You'll probably do that, but more often than not, you'll go into Dystopia, burn your opponent with like draw hands effect, attack power, and then go off from there. And then the 2 big boys, you've got these are like the OTK machines. You got Trinity. I love Trinity. The turn he's fusion summoned, his attack's doubled, so he's a 5k attack. Downside is he can't attack directly, but he can attack 3 times in one battle phase. So the amount of times, it was quite amusing. I did this in the regionals against the hero player. He thought he had me with Darklaw Plasma, but I'd impermanence the Plasma and then attack 3 times with that, and then that was a game. Malicious Bane, again, I thought about cutting it, but I was like, no, I had a silly moment. This needs to stay. Indestructible by battle or card effects. He's a one-sided sort of Dark Hole, or he's a Raigeki essentially. And then he gains the attack as well. It's pretty impressive, and it's actually very easy to summon. And then, of course, yay, these 2. So what I love more about the deck now is Absolute Zero has always been my favourite hero monster out of the entire archetype. But since, like, he used to be used, like, years and years and years ago with, like, I can't even remember. It's like a mermaid deck. I could be wrong, though, but he was quite oppressive back then, and he still can be. Obviously, now he's much easier to bring out because Sunrise will search your Miracle Fusion. And obviously, Sunrise is generic. He just requires 2 hero monsters with different attributes, which is really easy to pull off in this deck. He gives you protection against your for your Plasma. Essentially, if they want to attack into it, it triggers his effect, and you can pop a card on the field. And he gives them 200 extra attack for each different attribute that you control. So this, along with Dread Decimator, I think I had Draw Hand at like 3k attack once. I'm like, what is going on here? Is he level 4, man? It shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, that rounds off the main deck. So that is a 40 card deck. So I was running at 42, but I said I wanted it at 40.
Trimmed it down.
Yeah.
Cool, so that is what's inside the deck. So should we head on over to how the combo works?
We should.
Let's go on over to there. Okay, so you've seen a deck, now to see the combo. So we've set up here on YGO. I'm going to hand over to you to show it off.
Cool. So again, it's more of a go in second combo. It's to like OTK, but we're going to set up the board first because that's what we've been given. So we're going to use the E-Call to search Liquid Soldier.
Liquid Man, don't hear you.
Liquid Man.
But no, it's Liquid Soldier.
We're going to use Faris's effect to discard Liquid Soldier. Liquid Man. Special summon Faris. We're going to use his effect, placing increase in the spell and trap zone. We're then going to use increase his effect by tributing the Faris. Special summon increase. We'll use increase effect. We're going to special summon Vion. And we're going to use Vion's effect to send Malicious to the grave. And it's very important, we're going to use... Where is his effect? Okay, we've already got Polly. I got a bit worried there. I was like, where's Polly? Where is it? Okay, we're going to summon Extra Hero Cross Crusader. So obviously, if you didn't have the Polly, you would banish the Faris from the graveyard. It's very important that you do the Faris because you need Liquid Soldier and Malicious engraved. So yeah, if you didn't have it, it's the Faris that you banish. So we tribute increase and Vion for Cross Crusader. We use Cross Crusader's effect. Special summoning back our Malicious from Grave. Doesn't really matter where you put it. We tribute the Malicious with our Cross Crusader's effect. And we add Shadow Mist to our hand. Then we, if you didn't have Stratos, you would add Stratos first. That's easy to point out because Stratos would then search you your Shadow Mist. But obviously, because this way around we've already got Stratos, we're going to search Shadow Mist. So we can normal summon our Stratos. We're going to use effect. And at this point, we can add, I said, Honest Neos, because essentially we've got a free search because we're not having to use Stratos to search Shadow Mist. So we're just going to get Honest Neos. And we're going to use Malicious effect Engrave. And we're not going to chain that. We're going to special summon another copy from our deck. We're going to use Polymerization. Nope. We're going to go for Sunriser, so we're going to tribute the Malicious and Stratos. And then we're going to search our Miracle Fusion.
I was going to say, in the current Master Rule, you've got to put it there, but come April, it can go wherever it wants.
It can go wherever it wants. And then what we're going to do is activate Miracle Fusion.
Curse you, Honest Neos.
So we're going to we're going to banish Liquid Soldier, and at this point, it doesn't matter as long as you don't banish your Militia. So let's just do Bion. Let's just put it there. And then Liquid Soldier's effect is going to trigger because he's been banished for Fusion Summon of Hero Monster. So, no, we don't want to chain Honest Neos. So we draw 2 cards and then discard 1. So at this point, we discard the Shadow Mist. And then we activate his effect. No. And then at this point, we're going to search a Dusted Gold. And then we're going to banish our Malicious Engrave to summon the final copy, so that we can open up our final link zone. We're going to go into Dread Decimator, so we're going to tribute Cross Crusader and Malicious. What's it doing now?
Yeah, click that.
Mm-hmm.
Click, yep, and go up, and then click Finish.
Oh, I was using a different YG, it works a bit different to my own. Right, Dread Decimator. So now we've opened up the third link zone. We're going to use a Dusted Gold to search Dark Calling. We're going to activate. So we're going to banish our Dusted Gold, and at this point, Faris. Well, you would have had the Faris would have been gone if you'd have banished it for Polymerization, so you would have only been left with a Malicious. So again, it doesn't matter which one you go for this time. And then of course we've got Honest Neos in hand. We've got an Impermanence to set. We've got 23600 attack, 4136. And that starts off just 2 cards. And we ended with that board. So that uses the new Sunriser and the new Liquid Soldier.
Very nice. Well, that's awesome. We won't carry on from there. We'll leave it as is, just in case it all goes a bit tits up. Knowing us, it will. But there you go. That is the combination and what you can end with on that board. As I said, come April, that can change to be putting those wherever you want. So
it's like if you had a Fusion Destiny come April, you can just use it and then go into like a Dystopia and another zone, another disruption. As I said, you wouldn't normally want to end on this board turn 1 because it doesn't give you any interruptions, but apart from like Sunriser, but it does give you like one hell of an OTK board going second.
Cool. So there we are. We hope you enjoyed that. Look out for more videos coming soon. If it doesn't come out in time, if it doesn't come out soon, we're going to try and do a predictions video for the ban list. Got a community one coming up, so that's going to be cool. And our report on the regional, how that went.
Yeah.
Cool. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And peace out from me, guys.
See ya.
He bricked.
What?
He just ended.
How did a lights one deck? Well. Why won't it let you go to battle phase? There you go. That was weird.
Well then.
There we are. We'll put that on as a little extra thing at the end. Like hey, this is what it can do.
Okay.
There you go. So the other opponent bricked. And that's how you destroy someone.
Save.
Bonus! Go on, save the replay.
Save the replay.
See ya.